FOMO, Wells only and his guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue from having weak hands. Where the haters at? Yeah, bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got Hex, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. It's lullaby music, really, right?
Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. Yep. That's it. Yep. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. I mean, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Yash deep, everybody. My God. Ex-Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets it. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy.
Yo, what up, y'all? How y'all doing on this fabulous Sunday? I'm doing good. We'll make this one, I guess, relatively short because, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? I mean, the title really just does it all. But we'll expound for those that don't get it because that's all right. Hopefully, somebody that's new will find this and learn because this is a very important topic, right? So yeah, what up, everybody? This one is, I think it's a very important topic, right? Because this really underlines a lot of the decisions that we make every day when it comes to our money. And it's very crucial that people understand the significance of the differentiation, right? Because it seems safe to just be clicking on random cryptos because they're all supposed to be the same. But in reality, they're not. Right? And this is basically what this whole thing is about. And that's the whole point. So even if you come across something you like, be mindful of what you need to do when you come across that. Because that's the whole point, right? This is software. There's no exchange traded products being created here. And what that means is there's no similarity. There's no guarantee of quality of code. There's no guarantee of anything. You just put your money in the slot machine and ring in that slot. That's all you're doing. So that's very important to understand. Oh yeah, I got a new patch. Just found it trolling around, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." So throw it up there. Bring the other one back at some point. It ain't going nowhere. But anyways, and I mean, even this topic, right? It's really all predicated on psyops because they want people to think it's okay for them to put money into potholes, really, because you don't know what you're gonna get out, and that's the whole point. If it's something you can verify and you got experience doing it, great. This isn't for you. But if you're new to the space, you don't got experience doing any verification of any of that, right? You should probably keep your cards close to your chest until you figure it out. because the way I see it, people's money is hard earned. I don't assume I'm talking to trust fund babies out here. Everybody ain't a millionaire with a fucking mansion and some fancy fucking shades, right? And all that. Everybody ain't rocking like that. So when I get on the stream, I respect everybody's pocket, like if it was mine. So I don't talk about no bullshit, right? Especially if I don't know it's bullshit. Because people take the things you say, whether you like it or not, to some degree seriously. Whether you like it or not. And then the things that they should be taking seriously, they don't take it seriously. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. How else you think that price dropped 95%? Motherfuckers wasn't staking. But they're crying though. You see? They wasn't staking, but they're crying. Selling the bottom and shit. Right? And this is realistically what's happening. This is realistically what's happening. You can see it in the sentiment, right? Within the community. This is why people jump to dog shit. Right? Now, what differentiates something that you can title complete and all of that versus something that's a project, right? Now, let's first discuss what's complete because it's very simple. You know, it's very short. It's a very short list. What up, HEX.LIVE? Been a minute, homie. Hope you're doing well. Tav, if you want to come on, let me know, bro. I'm just talking about basic crypto stuff, nothing fancy. You know, why did I do myself the disservice of becoming a somewhat public persona within the community? Because it ain't doing me no favors. It just limits my free time. All right? That's a fact, not an opinion. However, I perceive it a responsibility that I go out of my way to do. So it's not like I look at it from a negative perspective. However, I do this for free. So it's a time drain with other shit I could be doing to make money. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But that's okay. Because again, what's the objective? The objective is to educate people properly. You don't want people to be coming out here putting their money in these black holes thinking that's what makes sense, that that's what's smart. You don't want to be that person. And we've all done it where we put money in holes that we can't get our money back out of. Pretty sure that's never the goal. Right? I mean, I think it'd be kind of crazy to say that it was, because I'm pretty sure it's not. And that's basically how I look at it, right? When you're talking about something on an exchange that's traded in the legacy markets, those, each different ticker is exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. The difference is the supply and demand of those letters. That is the difference when you're looking at legacy size stuff. Whether it's a bond, whether it's a stock, whether it's an option, whether it's a derivative, be it a future, right? Whatever it is, it simply works like that. The pricing is what the pricing is, and everything thereafter is dependent on supply and demand. Do people really want this asset right now? Just like everybody just spent the last, I don't know, year selling treasuries, right? Nobody wanted them. Nobody wanted them. And obvious as to why, right? I mean, actually, the last 2 years, right? But now we're reaching a point where it's like, okay, how much more can they really raise rates? Because everything's already crumbling. So not much more. And the market is recognizing that. And it's showing you that in the price action. Very simple. And if you just do yourself the favor of learning how to look markets like that, you will never make a bad trade. You won't make a lot of trades, but the trades you make will be long lasting and they will make you shit tons of money. Kind of like Hex, only not as good because it's not a long term trade like that. So, you know, it's really up to you how you want to look at this, but I'm going to tell you the right way to look at it. And the right way is to ignore things until you can confirm that they are complete and serving a financial purpose. Because if you want to, play the game of trading something that's going to just be there because it's a ticker, then you're better served going to a legacy side market. You don't need to be in crypto. You're just going to get burnt. It's only a matter of time. And all that hard earned work going to disappear. Poof. Because all it takes is one bad move. This is software. Whether you look at it like that or not is irrelevant. But that's what this is. Right? And this is why we're going through these motions, talking these topics. I mean, look at the ticker that's scrolling at the bottom of my screen. Never share or expose seed phrase or private keys. Do not click on random links. For a long time, it was just that because I didn't have anything to show. But now I have the Hex Investment Trust for accredited investors and this Team Alpha thing. So it's very important that you guys focus on the imperatives. And the imperatives are that this is software. This is why your seed phrase and private keys and not clicking on random links are so critical. I had one of my colleagues today message me about something that they should have known better about. And the crazy thing is that they're extremely more knowledgeable about internet stuff than me. And this goes to show that how it can just happen to anybody. I mean, the guy's on vacation having a grand old time. He happens to come across this random thing that I don't know where he came across it at. But he did. Hey, Tharp, I sent you the link, bro, just in case you didn't hear me. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate you. And shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Of course, you guys know I'm not ignoring you. I just, start rambling once I start rambling. But, this is very important, right? If you want to speculate, I highly advise you go speculate elsewhere. And don't speculate in crypto. Crypto is too new. And because it's so new, there's a lot of landmines that you can walk into. Because here's the thing. The coins you see getting pumped, well, somebody's pumping them. And by the time you hear about them, 99% of the time, they've already gotten pumped. Because you're not finding out about it before the launch. You're finding out about it after the launch. We're fortunate enough to find out about Pulse Chain and Pulse X prior to. And Hedron and Maxi and all those things that we're all familiar with. But those are all being built under the tenets of what is supposed to be cryptocurrency. So this is very important to understand. Yeah, I tell some of them, but again, only you can help yourself. They don't know who I am and all this stuff. Only you guys know this. So just because I say it, don't mean they're gonna act on it. I tried to get my boss into it, and nothing didn't bite. Only one of my colleagues is actually in it, and she hardcore. But everybody else got left behind. What up, Robert? Shout out to you guys to see what you guys are doing out there, man. Keep up the good work. It is hard in the real streets, ain't it? Vibra deals with actual people. They don't really do stuff on the internet. And as they could probably tell you, it's hard out there to do crypto stuff in the real world because people are just not really educated on the topic. Most of the people that are You know, they just are. And for everybody else, it's a battle, it's a challenge. It's almost impossible for them to grasp that value is really in your head. You know, it's a variable. It's anything you want it to be. You know, if one day we just said, you know what, the latest currency is blunts. The bigger the blunt, the higher the value of the currency. Here are the measurements in grams, yada yada yada. That's the currency. If all of a sudden we came to that decision that X amount of gram size blunts was the currency, that's the currency. And people just don't want to wrap their head around that, but that's a fact. That's how it works. We went from seashells and stuff like that to tree sticks to paper money. Paper money. Paper monopoly money. And this is just something that the average person does not know whether they work on Wall Street or not. So it's difficult for them to really wrap their head around the significance of what is currently happening. You know, for people that have been around this for the longest time, this is ABC 123 by now, right? It took me a long time for me to wrap my head around the reality of value. And once I got my head around that, it's been a no-brainer. But that's not the case for everybody, right? Even people in crypto don't realize that that's what it's about. They think that the name and all this other funky stuff goes, you know, and none of that stuff matters, man. What does it do? What is it? How does it look? What does that code say? Right? Can we verify that there's no admin keys? Right? All these things. And here's the thing: when you're looking at a contract, you need to look up what these functions mean, what they are, what they do. This is how you verify it. This is not rocket science. Solidity is, you know, the consensus, the general consensus code as used for Ethereum. So these contracts are not made in C++, anything like that. So there's no reason anybody should be getting involved with things with admin keys and taxes and all this stuff. Right? Like, this is very serious because you're taking your hard-earned money and putting it on the line for this, for these returns, you know? And here's the thing. I'm going to tell you guys how I look at the market, right? Yeah, no, I'm not being hard. This is why I'm talking about it. Right? This is why I'm talking about it. And I'm being very detailed. I know it's not easy because I'm here explaining that even my so-called Wall Street colleagues don't get it. And it took me a long time to wrap my head around it. And it's imperative that it gets discussed over and over and over, because if not, people will continue to make the mistake. What's up, Crispy? Hope you're doing well, brother. Because this is what it's about. It's about learning the right items, right? Because what do we know? What we know is that out here we have the onslaught of all the fool rules giving you all this misinformation. And all this misinformation is what's driving people to make the incorrect decisions. Because it's not saying only buy Hex, right? It's understand what you're doing. That's what I'm saying. Because if you're putting your money in a project, you best to know you're putting your money in a project. Because there's no going back once you jack it up, right? No going back whatsoever. And this is important because even I've engaged protocols where I can't get my money back. So this is a reality. This is not something anybody's making up. And so this is why it's important that this be discussed. You know, what does a project bring to the table? A bunch of promises. Until it's done, that's all it is. And that's just all it is. Nothing else. You know, it ain't nothing fancy. It ain't nothing, you know, you gotta flip coins about. it is what it is. And that's all. What up, homie?
What up, God? How you feeling?
Chilling, man. What you doing, bro?
Happy Sunday to you and yours.
Yeah, man, it's been a good one. Woke up at a nice run after a nice long overdue sleep. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I slept like more than 8 hours and was okay afterwards.
Damn, you needed that.
Yeah. It was crazy
Dude,
yesterday.
I've been getting by on like 2-3 hours some nights, and I'm
Yeah, it'll
just,
catch up with you.
oh, it is. It
You
is.
know how
Hey,
it
look, I found a book they wrote for us, man.
goes. You funny, bro.
Right?
Come on.
First time ever in America or in human history.
Yeah, don't get used
Dads,
to it.
dads get some props.
Yeah, don't get used to it. You know how that goes. Men never get any props in any respect, so don't get comfy with that. Don't get comfy with that. So yeah, man, back to this crypto stuff.
Oh my.
Um, it's really important that people understand the bare basics. And the bare basics is that this is software. Because if it's not software, you're really jumping the gun. If there's people involved, is it software after it's supposedly ready for user use? And the fact is, no, it's not software. It's something else. And you can't really tell anybody what it is because it can't even be defined.
It definitely ain't DeFi.
It ain't DeFi, it ain't crypto. What's going on, Molly? And we're going by just the regular definition of what was written in the Bitcoin white paper. We're not making nothing fancy up here. So let's go over that first. How about that? Let me pull
Motley.
that up. Let me pull
Mott's
that
is
up.
here.
Yeah, what's going on, Molly?
Hey, did you see that Zero Hedge article about the Celsius bloodbath, man?
Nah.
It's like the shit. It's the shit you've been talking about for a year, dude. It's all like just right there.
Yeah, happens, bro. It ain't stuff that ain't it ain't new. You know, it's stuff that's existed since the beginning of time. And unfortunately, some people just end up learning the hard way. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. And all we can do is preach the good message, preach the good word, and
Since
hope
the
that people
beginning of
hear
time, though,
us.
you said, right? It's the
Yeah,
same hustle, the same okey doke pre blockchain.
yeah. But this is why blockchain was so important back in the day, right?
Precisely.
Because okay, so crypto's been around since like the '60s. Okay, just of course it wasn't
Vibrant.
the same thing as it is now, which is what was I gonna look up again?
I don't know. I interrupted you. I apologize.
All right, I'm just trying to remember. What was I gonna look up again? Anyway, I remember at some point as I ramble on.
Ramble on, young man.
Ramble on, yeah. What it is damn, you get caught. Bitcoin white paper. There you go. Yeah. So what it is you get caught up right in the allure of promises and one Lambo and all this stupidity, right? And that's just not reality. It's easy to dream, but the problem with dreaming that people fail to realize is that a dream only becomes reality if you make it so, right? A dream doesn't become reality because you're just sitting in your crib chilling, smoking all day. So very important that people get that shit straight, right? Because you got to be able to take your game to where it needs to go, right? That's the only way. Hold on. Always forget. There you go. So this is very important, right? Bitcoin white paper basically lists what Bitcoin is supposed to be, right? What cryptocurrency is supposed to be. Plain and simple. Nothing fancy. Um, I'm not over here making anything up, so let's just go through it. The abstract gives you the definition. A purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Okay, that's it. That's all. That's the definition of a cryptocurrency. Now it just so happens that the infrastructure for blockchain for Bitcoin when it was developed wasn't built out such that the whole world can just engage it, right? Um, and even to acquire it back in the day, I mean, it was easier to acquire it through mining than it was through trying to get it through some secondhand way, right? Trying to buy it in the market because the markets didn't really exist in 2010 and 11. They were very, very rare. Um, so you had to have a wallet somehow, however you can get one made, because even that was difficult to figure out back then. So you didn't have the ease of use that you have in 2022, right? So in 2022, you can actually do this. You can send payments from one party to another directly without going through a financial institution. This exists now, and it became a goal of humanity for a reason, right? And we finally achieved that goal in 2019, which is when DeFi became a thing. Now, as we all know, Bitcoin would have to change drastically to get on par with this definition. It never became what it was supposed to be. And these are facts, not opinions. It's right here in your face. You don't gotta like it. You sure as hell gotta deal with it. And that's just how the story goes. Because somebody else wrote this. And the market has accepted it as so. This is how you get crazy performance out of small amounts of fiat, right? So everything that happens in other arenas, in projects, for example, how can you justify those, right? And a lot of the times is that they're just marketing pieces because they're all the same. Because until they're complete, they're just all taped on coins to a name and a marketing budget. That's really all projects are in most cases, right?
Side
So,
B, ain't no bugs.
was that?
Side B, 1:58 p.m. Ain't no bugs, Cy. If there were, they would have been exploited by now.
Oh yeah, there's no bug, brother.
But I get your point. I get your
Yeah.
point.
So, if Xcode is immutable and there was a bug, would that mean the bug couldn't be fixed? The answer would be yes. However, the way that Hex was designed, it was ensured that there were no bugs before it became immutable.
Right.
And only after that point was it released. And this is why we can say it's a final complete product.
Indeed. And if you ask yourself why Pulse is taking so long, I would have
This is
said
why.
I would have said up until a month ago, this is why.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they got to make sure that there's no bugs. And I'll tell you what, while RH and company might not be timing the market, I'll tell you what, I'd wager they're using market price action to not be in a rush to ensure that there are no bugs.
Yeah. I bet we're
Because why
ready to
not?
go. We're probably ready to go now. It's just a matter of when's the right time.
Right. But, we don't really know the answer to that.
We don't.
All we can guesstimate is that that's what's happening. And if that is the case, when things finally are completed, it's going to just be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no other way to put it. I mean, if you don't understand that only 67,000 wallets exist, hold on. Let's look this shit up. What is it? Pulse chain lead?
That came up today. How many are in the sacrifice class the first time? Like 40,000 some globally?
I think it's. I can't remember, man. I'm trying to remember.
I don't know. I had some guy who I got into that, and he doesn't understand. There are people who would literally gift him their left testicle to be one of those human beings right now. And this motherfucker's bitching.
Nah, funny.
Make me sick to my stomach, man. Like, oh my God, dude. Do you realize?
I I just want the regular site, so I'm guessing it's this one.
Paul Krugman confesses, I was wrong about inflation.
41,000 wallets.
Holy shit. You feel special? I feel special.
41,000 wallets. 41,200. Let's round up. Or 42,000. Let's round up.
Okay.
Okay.
Damn, I feel like a king right now.
It's just so people can understand, like, the demand, because it's gonna be complete to some degree when it drops. We don't know how it's gonna drop, but we're gonna know it's gonna be as good as it can be when it does. And that's the whole point of understanding the difference between a project
And a product.
and a product. Because here's the thing, that coin could exist and they could just keep working on the chain. Could be the case. Because it just be another duct tape token like the rest.
Right, right.
Nobody uses Uniswap coin for anything.
Mm-mm.
So,
I mean, you got to understand how special you are. Like, what a rare set you're in. If you're one of those 41,000 people globally, how many on planet Earth again? Wales, 8
billion basically at this point.
Okay, yeah. Got it. What a blessing, man.
Yeah, it's cool, but it's important to understand, the basics, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is software.
Yes, you've maintained this. You've been so persistent, consistent with this all along.
Yep. It's important. It's software, a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash, and I think electronic cash might have been the first name that crypto had back in the day, like in the '60s, late '60s. And this was, of course, when the internet was first made by the feds, right, by the government. And would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another, thanks without going through an intermediary, a financial intermediary. Thank you, Uniswap, for coming up with the tech. And now we're free to play, right? And that's what it's about. But you gotta understand what you need to know, because if you're gonna play over here, you gotta realize a couple things, and these things are very important. This is literally we're still at the ground floor of crypto, okay? Because it doesn't exist by definition. And this is important to understand because this is where the future is going. Why? And how do I know? Well, this is what we want. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of people invading my financial privacy, my privacy in general.
Hell yeah.
Right? And look, this is a very good comparison. Thanks, Grab. Yankee Stadium holds 54,000 bodies. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So we're almost filling up the stadium with Pulse Chain.
Yeah, an Unchained Mind says, Hothschild, are you saying we are the elites, sir? That's just about precisely what Wales has been saying for
a long time. Yeah, a long time. I've been trying to get people to understand that.
He said to me, man, you got to get out of this mindset of crushing these wealthy people. I was like, why is that, man? He said, because you're about to be one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. In fact, I remember when we were doing a stream one time, effing Hangout. I think we were talking about the trust and.
Oh, you guys got my ass.
I got so pissed. I was like, what the fuck, bitch?
I know what I said. I own it, but I didn't mean it the way it was taken. I just meant.
It doesn't matter. It's just the frame of mind.
Okay, you're right. You're right. That's fair.
That's what irked me. That's what irked me because I was like, damn, I thought this dude understood what was going on here. Right?
I just meant about who could participate today, but
yeah,
I do understand your side as well.
Yeah. But I mean, here's the thing. The whole objective is to interject ourselves into the system.
Yes.
So in order to do that, at first, we must play by their rules because it's not our system. Until we learn the right things, such as the things that are being discussed now by all, we all are not going to pick the right tools to use financially. Because again, we started out with seashells, bro. You know what I'm saying? Right. We could easily be using guitars for currency.
Right. Damn, that seashells thing must have worked out a lot better for the tribes in Florida than it did for the tribes in like fucking Michigan.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know what they use some money out there. I would guess tea leaves or something, right?
Right.
I mean, anything else. But the whole point is, I mean, even tea leaves and rice and all these different items have been currency throughout time. So people have to understand that this is just the next evolution. Whether you like it or not, this is it. Because the market will make it so. There are no returns to be had in the legacy market unless you know what you're doing or unless you get lucky.
Hmm.
Because we're at the end point of the dollar. And this is something I've been saying since I started streaming. And we're seeing it, right? I mean, let's look at the damn chart. Where this thing at? Still bull running.
Hmm.
Still bull running with the best of them. And this is just a daily chart. Let's go to 3 days.
God damn.
Yeah.
Jeez.
RSI still holding strong for now. Got some type of negative divergence here, but what happens is that you got to actually wait for the market to either correct properly, meaning breaking previous support structure,
Hmm.
or you got to see the RSI hovering already below the band while the market is atop, kind of like you have over here. See, because over here in 2020, what did you see?
Hmm.
You saw a high being made while the RSI was up there. However, meaning it wasn't safe yet to short. However, the following candle, you got that.
Hmm.
Started rolling over.
Hmm.
Then the market cracked, right? This
Right.
is the dollar back in 2020,
Okay.
right when they started printing. And then it chopped, right? And
Right.
then as it chopped, what did you see? Well, you saw the market trying to recover somewhat, but it was just a bear flag in reality. And the RSI let us know this because it could just never get back above the middle band. And that's how you knew it was safe to short.
Right. Right. And then you got Paul Krugman over here. I'm just looking at this article as we're going going along. He,
Just ignore those people.
it's
They're
like,
so irrelevant.
they had to go back to to early 21, 1.9 trillion, right? Helicopter American
Right.
Rescue Plan Act, March 11th. He says, I'm in team relaxed. Some are warning that this package would be dangerously inflationary. It
Oh
turns
my
out I
god.
was very, very wrong.
Okay, so let's talk about that. And I've touched on this topic before. You know,
Krugman.
what does it mean when these people now start saying that they are wrong? This is very important.
This is true. This is true. An indicator. Yeah, pay
This
attention.
is a major indicator, brother. Huge. When Janet Yellen did this, I knew officially that was the end of the dollar. I'm sure I tweeted it. If I searched for it, if I knew how to search for it, I'd find it and show y'all. Because I'm sure I tweeted this shit because that's it. They never have ever in the ever of history admitted to being wrong about any damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Period. We
Pre.
talking about Agent Orange on down. I mean, you fucking name it, forget about it. They never admitted it. This is a fact, not an opinion. So now, all of a sudden, we have Janet Yellen admitting she was wrong. Paul Krugman admitting he was wrong. Who knows who else is out there admitting they're wrong? Because I don't pay attention. I already knew they was wrong.
Yeah.
But this is now the narrative, folks. This is how you know the dollar is done. Now, what does that mean? I'm sure if you've gone outside, no matter where in the world you live, your prices are up. I know mine are by at least 30%.
Yeah, and what else it means is everything is
60.
going perfectly according to plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Because objective is for everyone to feel pain. And they're ensuring that. That's what the printing was all about. They know who's getting that money. We get squeezed out. We get squeezed out because that's how the cookie crumbles. We don't have economic mass in order to absorb any financial assets. So any financial engineering, unless you can find a way to interject yourself and hold on, you don't benefit from it at all. Period. And this is what people fail to understand. Because this is what we've experienced throughout time. And this is just the index. This is not even reality. This is just the index. this is not reality because the index is it's an index. This is a dollar index. This is how we can look at it.
It's like paper gold.
To a certain extent, this is what I mean by it's not even what we use. So this thing is like 60% the euro, 10% the pound, 8% the yen, and then a whole bunch of other shit. Right? That's how that like the values of the trading versus those different currencies is what makes up the value of this dollar index itself.
Hey,
So
Wales,
it's
Hexographer is a whiz at this. He's offering to find your tweet if you can just give him a couple keywords. He'll pull the tweet up.
Shoot. Let me think. I'll think on that.
Yeah.
I would say search for dollar and over.
The dollar is over.
Dollar over or dollar dead or end of the dollar, something like that.
See, can I skip a couple of steps and just run one by you? Because the CBDC comes up a lot. But you and I know, and I brought this up quite a bit on stream, they never accomplish just the one thing in anything they do. They accomplish many, many things.
Yeah.
I feel like this quivering supply chain deal right before the winter. Oh, how convenient, right?
Yes.
It's like, oh man, I can't eat food. Oh man, the dollar just has collapsed and crashed. Society is like quivering on the edge. And they rush in because we all know about Hegelian. We brought it up before, the problem, reaction, solution. Magically, there they are with the solution, right? They're going to be like, listen, guys, I got food for you over here. But you and the whole family is going to have to take the jibber jabber, and then you're going to sign up for the CBDC, and then everything's going to be great. And you go, okay, shoot me up and sign me up. You know,
right?
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crappy situation because, unfortunately, the masses won't know what we know, so they're going to get dragged. They're going to get sucked into that dragnet. That's the best way to put it.
Right.
And then, if you look at China and the things that are happening over there, things that are happening in Sri Lanka, the things that have happened in Lebanon, I mean, the past 2 years have been a whirlwind for currencies. And if you're not paying attention, you're missing a whole lot of action.
Well, we've kind of always been of the public opinion that what happens in China is kind of the prelude for the rest of the world. We kind of agree there, right?
Yeah, to a certain extent. Yes, sir.
It's almost like they're testing ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's messaging for them. It says, here's what you have to look forward to or fear,
Yeah, and look at this. If you look at what happened after the tech bubble, right? This is, 9/11 basically, into 2002.
The end of another Shemitah, I might point out.
Right. The dollar just fell precipitously for 41% to 41% for 2,500 days, damn near. Right. And this equates to, 7 years almost in time. 6 years, 9 months. Damn near to the day. 6.75 years. Because March is 3 months short of June. So it could have easily been 6.66 years or something like that. You know how these motherfuckers roll, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and get into that. But the whole point is they literally debased the value of the currency to such a degree that we all saw. I remember the prices of things in the early 2000s and before I left. Right, and the dollar is the ultimate scam token, right? I remember the prices and how cheap things were.
The dollar's the ultimate scam token. There it is.
That's right. That's right. It is.
Yeah, don't worry about what the scam token's named. You guys don't fuck with anything that isn't our shit, right? And if you find something magically in your wallet, fucking get rid of it.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't engage with it. Don't do nothing with it. I mean, this is imperative. So, we're talking about the dollar right now because it's important that you understand the things we're about to talk about. Right? Like once we get into the software aspect and all these important aspects of the difference between projects and complete products, right? Like this is imperative, right? Like we have Hedron, right, as a second iteration of a Richard Hart like product. Immutable, no admin keys, finalized,
A
serves a
coach is going to the
purpose.
test net tonight, I think Alex said.
Yeah, now he's throwing something else up onto the test net. ICAZA, right? The staking of Hedron, right? So now we're gonna have to learn something else, right? Because it's gonna add another leg to the stool of Hedron. Because Hedron, a lot of people don't understand it. They just talk shit about it, and I just sit back and watch because it's fun. It's fun because a lot of people are gonna get left behind with that one. Because here's the thing: what did we learn about hex people during this bear market? A lot of them wasn't staked, so a lot of them was lying.
Yeah.
So they don't get no free alpha from me on Hedron. Good luck. Good luck not buying.
Yeah, that's the bellyacre I was dealing with before. He's telling everybody I saved his life last year when I got him out of Bitcoin. Okay. And I had done the overlay of the Wyckoff for him. And it was like his eyes opened, and it was if the beneficence of God shone upon his face. And he told anybody who would listen, this saintly man, he got me in at 9 cents, and it wicked up to 56 cents, and I could pay my medical bills. And I was like, bitch, did you take profit? Did you close your position? No. Oh, okay. And now we're at 3 cents, and you're saying I'm a faggot and an asshole. I'm like, were you staked? No.
Oh, so you're actually the faggot and the asshole.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like,
I mean, you know,
face, man, you can only help people so fucking much.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? When it comes to onboarding, it's important that people realize that, like, you can only do but so much for people because you only know what you know and they only know what they know.
Dude, I wrote 8 emails. 8. And you know how I write. These were not short emails.
No, my God. No wonder the guy hates you. That's probably why he really hates you. He's just using the coin price as an excuse, motherfucker.
What? Hey, man.
Like, yo,
I try to be transparent. What can I say, man?
Oh, too funny. So look, this is why we're talking about the dollar, right? I mean, our lives were reset literally from the year 2000 on, to the point that now we're paying umpteen X's on everything. Period. I mean, hot dogs were less than $2. Now they cost you $5. Everything costs you more. $1 costs you $2. A water costs you $2. Well, $1 costs you $5 now, really.
I mean, my God, dude, out here in the boonies, I don't know what it's like up in the BX, but out here in the boonies, this gas is killing us, dude. I cannot go to my local store without spending $5
out here, depending on where you end up, $5.50 even.
Yep. Back in February, I rolled into California and looked, and it said like $7 a gallon at the pump, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I got
that was back then.
Yeah,
that was back then.
No, and I got home to the East Coast, and by the time I got back to the East Coast, my pump said $7.
Yeah, bro, it was crazy. It was all the way 5+ over here for a little while, right? Like it's real out here, man. And this is why I talk about this stuff all the time. If you don't understand Hex by now, you can, and I'm not talking about it, you can go and watch the old videos. But if you don't get the thumbnails, well, shit, I can't help you. The thumbnails are kind of a dead giveaway. There's not many coins I talk about.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of like why you should be buying them coins on the thumbnail, homie. Like, figure it out.
Whales only this week with a few words about Solana.
Oh my God, you imagine? Shoot me. Fuck. And yo, thanks for the super chat, man. I appreciate it, Steven. Yep, there you go. We're trying, man. We're trying. All we can do is try. All right.
We talk about the staker class. We talk about the sacrificer class. I got another one for you. The survivor class. Here we are.
That's right. All right. A lot of people were faking the funk for a long time, and now they don't understand what the hell's going on. Thank you for the message, FM. Appreciate that. Do not touch things that just randomly show up in your wallet. Do not click on random links. Do not. There's no such thing as a giveaway. There's no such thing as a bonus. There are only airdrops and forks. That's it. Ain't nothing else.
I used to say, if you get a personal message from Richard Hart, the baby Jesus, or Santa Claus, it does not matter.
Ignore it. Ignore it.
This is Gautama Siddhartha, the Buddha here, and I'd like to tell you about an exciting new token.
Damn, really? I might have to fucking look then. I might have to look. Who knows what the hell I said, hexographer? I'm sorry. I'm out of there, bro. Who knows what I said? I be saying some crazy shit. Probably wrote like, hope you got some hex or some shit.
It doesn't exist, bro.
Nah, I probably wrote some shit like, hope you got your hex. Yo, because I mean, I've been talking about it for a whole freaking long time, so I don't even know what to say sometimes, bro. I'm just like, damn.
Yeah, first domino, you're saying Richard isn't really going to send me 5 Ethereum for 30,000?
This is great. This is great. Thank you. I appreciate it. I should send you $50 for this message.
I told y'all, man, the sacrifice phase for the Thawchild token is still open, motherfuckers.
Hey, man, it's been
go over
to
my channel on YouTube. We got 2 filthy fiat options and an ERC20 wallet address. Y'all get it in. Get it in now.
No expectations, please. No expectations from the work of others.
Zero. I would encourage you to have zero expectations regarding the Thawchild token.
Yeah, word. Damn, man.
What did Dougie say? Thaws, can someone be all 3? I think we are, my friend. I think we are.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, we are all 3. Why not?
Oh, really? Is this so cryptomatic? That's interesting. How about Wales? There you go. A Cryptomatic points out that there's this scammy thing that's going around is going to cleanse the earth of the liquid holders.
Oh, how about that? Look at that. So this is somebody that understands Hex that's out here trying to scam people in Hex. Interesting, no?
You got me. Oh, Archie, it's open right now, brother.
But that's funny, huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's crazy, Cryptomatic. That's some scam alpha right there, bro.
Right there, yeah. That is very funny. Ha ha.
I guess you guys all figured out what me and Wales are up to, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it, so that's how I know.
We're the ones who put it out.
Yeah, well, for sure. It's definitely somebody that knows Hex, for sure. Because how the hell they know to do that?
I'm saying.
Right? Because the odds of the fools that are not staked clicking on whatever are much higher because they're not educated enough. Yeah. That's why we having this talk, people. That's right. Yep. And that's right. And what's going on right now is called the dusting. Plenty people getting dusted. Because they just not paying attention. Like, yo, nobody's out here giving you nothing. You had to pay for this Hex. The yield is what you get in return for paying for the Hex. Right?
That's right.
So we go back, we think about the early 2000s if you're old enough. You know, things were way cheaper than they are now by many multiples of X's. You can't forget that. You got to remember that. Because that's how you realize you're getting scammed out of living. Because you got to work more every day for no reason. Just because these people want to print billions of dollars. Trillions of dollars, excuse me. Let me stop lying. Yeah. Trillions. This is what we're doing as a society. And this is why I go so hard and why I still stream. Because we all need to understand that. And we're at the end of the line. Because look at where we're at now. This isn't even the whole damn chart. Unfortunately, this only goes back to 86. I don't know if I can pull it up here. Let's see. Oh, well, yeah. What am I saying? I'm a fool.
Is this some M2?
Nah. I can do better. I just completely forgot.
Fred. Fred is dead.
Here we go.
These guys in chat are tripping on a Sunday. Me neither. Show me the T-shares, motherfucker.
Don't want to see nothing else.
Toto.
Let's see.
Alan Fizami.
We're gonna need to get Alan on stream one day.
I'm telling you, man. Yeah, HEX.LIVE, Children of the Grave, and Alan. Like the live
Dan
chat
too. But you know what? I've been on stream with Romanian Dan. He don't say a damn thing, that motherfucker, but he's so damn funny.
Well, that's like when I got Stones on, man. He is a barrel of monkeys when we're in the chat rooms in the community. But I got him on stream. He didn't talk. I wanted him to say, "Oi, my dick's a sponge cake, mate."
Yeah, he don't say shit.
No.
Oh, okay. Purchasing power. That's what I'm looking for. Bam. MoneyGram. There we go. That's what I'm looking for, baby.
Wow. Look at that.
All right. Let's see if we can get another index in here. I guess not, man. Yes. This is what I want. Oh, no. Damn it. I guess I can't. Let me see. Yes. Aha. We'll go with this one. Oh, yeah. We'll go with this one. Okay.
And people bitch about crypto. Look at this chart.
So what are we looking at, folks? What we're looking at here is a consumer price index for all urban consumers. Purchasing power of the consumer dollar in U.S. city average January 1913, starting at 100. So this is the starting point for a dollar. Here, a dollar equals a dollar. Okay? At this point in time, a dollar equals a dollar. Today, or at least whenever this chart, damn, can I not? Do I gotta slide this thing? What's going on here? The fuck? Like, yeah, we had to stop recording this shit. It was getting too crazy. So a dollar right now is 97. What's 100 minus 3.3? 96.7% value less. So your return on a dollar, if you're holding a dollar today, is worth less, 96% or 97% less than it was at the start.
Wow.
So it's really worth zero. So this is why now goods and services are flying through the roof, because now the dollar no longer matters. It no longer matters to the point that foreign entities are no longer using dollars. Now, I guess this would be a good time to bring in euro dollars again, because this is how this comes into play. Right? When we think about offshore dollars, this is a market that's existed since the 50s. The average person has no idea even exists. Nobody's thinking about offshore dollars. They don't know that's a thing, but it's a thing. It's a whole market. And the world deals in that, not in them pieces of paper that you think, are in your pocket. But no. This is what euro dollars are. This is that thing I be talking about sometimes.
The world, I guess, just couldn't do anything about it back in 1971, but they're sure responding now.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So this thing, how does it work? Right. So if we let me put the dollar on it, just so people can visualize what I'm about to say. There we go. Okay. So this brown line is a dollar. Okay. So you guys see the dollar was just dumped. from 2016 to 2018. But the rate of return on euro dollars was pretty high. It's $3 or 3%, right? We were getting 2.5% for holding euro dollars. Now these are just the futures, but the futures represent the real rate that people are earning in banks offshore. So what happens? Well, the market doesn't like that because it's not lining up with what's happening in reality. So over time, rates compress.
Huh.
Now, what happened in July 2020? People started realizing what was going on with all these dollars that were hitting the system, courtesy of the so-called federal government. So we went from an all-time low of 44 basis points, meaning if you were holding dollars offshore for 3 years or 4 years at this point in time, because this is a 2024 contract, you were getting less than 0.5%. Right. So once all this printing came on board, well, that shot right the hell up to almost 4%. And now we're retracing. Now the question now is, well, has the Federal Reserve gone too far at 1.21? That's the question, right? That the market's asking. And so far, the dollar is saying yeah. And typically when the dollar is saying yeah, rates have to correct. Whether they correct right now or not is the question. And we know they're going to hike at least one more time. But guess what? The market doesn't care. Now, this is a visual of the dollar, right? And as you guys can see, sometimes the markets don't move at the same time, right? And this is important to understand because this is how you figure out that it's capital flows that matter. Capital flows. What does that mean? That means where is money going and when is it going there, right? And if we see at this point in time, rates were 19%, why in the hell would you not be holding dollars if you were getting 19%, right? And this is what the market ultimately figured out from 69 on forward, right? Because rates were creeping up, but nobody wanted the dollar because they were printing so many of them. But then eventually the market realized all the yield that could be had and all the other stuff that came along with this rip into the 80s with the imposition of credit on people and all these other things that just made dollar usage more palatable to the market, which is why they absorbed so many of them, right? But that ended, right, with the savings and loan crisis in 85, yada, yada.
Wales, we got two comments about some echo. Guys, I've been mostly muted while he's been talking, so I don't know if it's coming off me or if it's coming off you.
Probably was me.
Okay, how's that sound, chat?
Yeah,
we better?
Still a chat or echo. Yeah, I'll wait for you guys. My bad, because I was just looking at the screen and the screen don't line up with the chat.
No echo on Wales. What about me there, Freedom? Sounds fine, says Grav.
Well, yeah,
thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Beauty.
guys.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good, brother. Thank you for interrupting because I really wasn't paying attention. Let me actually take this stuff off. So the thing again is, the variation in the price of the dollar, a lot of the time you would think it would coincide with the motion of the rate, right? But what you have to remember is that these rates are stagnant. Now, let me get this off log because that makes more sense. Excuse me. That shit wasn't making sense before. But now when you look at it like this, it makes more sense because this scaling wasn't on log. Now, let me see what happens if nothing happens. Stays the same.
Marcavelli, he said it. I was thinking exactly about that.
It is
Marcavelli.
that fan. Yeah, I do got a fan on for sure.
Back in the day, whales be dropping crazy amounts of alpha knowledge, and in the back, I'd be.
Remember that?
You'd be like,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah, it was crazy. I just had to change the setting on my computer, and all that was fixed.
Thank you, Terry Doc. Terry Doc.
All right, cool. So yeah, you guys, this is a better visual, but the lines clash a little bit here, right? So what you guys see here in the early '70s, you had yields pop, right, and dollar drop. Now that's because they were playing vice versa because of what was happening economically, right? As we probably all know, if we know a little bit of history, back in Vietnam era, the whole reason of the dollar getting destroyed as it stood at that point in time and us printing dollars was for the expenditures of war at that time, right? So it's important we understand that because that's why the dollar went down in value and the rates went up ultimately, right? It didn't go up right away because the market had to work its way out into understanding what was going on.
And that's kind of the pivot that this entire system moves around. I mean, we're pretty much in a perpetual state of war and have been for a very long time.
Yep, pretty much. Because the 80s, you have more wars going on. 70s too. They just were happening in different jurisdictions.
Shit, yeah. I know brothers that was jumping out of helicopters in Nicaragua, and you didn't see a single front page.
Nothing. Grenada, all kinds of stuff. Colombia, all that. And that was happening in the late 70s and 80s. You didn't hear anybody talking about that. But hey, whatever. But anyways, back to this. And you got the value of the dollar going down again, right? Because they must have started printing more in the late 70s. But ultimately, with the yield rocketing from 5 to double digits, right back to 9. I mean, really just double digits for so long. It really enticed the market to pick up the dollar again in the 80s, right? And this is when gold was spiking and then it crashed and all of that. But the dollar kept on chugging along even after yields started coming down, right? When Volcker came into the central bank head position for the Federal Reserve and started suppressing yields, right? And then ultimately, the dollar dissuaded the market dissuaded itself of the dollar and it pushed it down. So much so that over time, the market picked some back up again, but then the Fed did what they did. By creating the housing bubble and getting the market in trouble with the tech bubble as well.
Another Schmida.
Yeah. So you got these two instances where it really crushed, it really ended whatever value the dollar had left. These two instances, the big tech bubble and the housing bubble, both created by the Fed. Because when money is easy, and this was easy money at the time, it wasn't zero. Easy money was 5% because that's what it was. And it was easy to get. And you saw it. This is why yields started going up in late 99 because people no longer wanted to take on that credit risk, that market risk, that debt risk, right? This is what happened. Same thing happened in 04 when Fed funds started going up. It just takes the market a while to catch on. But as you guys can see, the dollar ultimately catches on, right? And people start shedding it because they don't want to hold that low value piece of paper because it's no longer paying a yield. Now, it takes people a while to figure it out. This is why when you're watching interest rates, right, from another perspective, let's pull up a 10-year here. Make this thing align. All right. So as you guys can see, the 10-year kind of moves a little more cohesively. Let me just get rid of it. Ten-year moves a little more cohesively with the dollar, right? Especially back then, because it had more of a reason to, because of how things were reported. Back in the 80s, the quantity of money was reported, and that affected the rate a lot, as well as the value of the currency. But over time, that stopped getting reported, of course, because the goal was to suppress the interest rate and increase
the quantity of dollars, right? This is why credit expansion was, critical, and we see it in the data going back to the 80s, right? Like, this is when the dollar like really just started dropping precipitously. We were already at 10% here, right? The war really crushed it, right? I mean, you see how it dropped, bam, bam. I mean, 70 to 40, right? And then from there on, in the 50s on, we had Korean War, Vietnam War, whole bunch of other stuff that they just been doing on the underground so that you didn't know, and so on and so forth. I mean, you know about Iraq and Afghanistan and all these other wars because you alive. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that they've done, that they do, that you don't know about if you're just not privy to it. But this is what it's all about: printing dollars, acquiring whatever they want to acquire, right? And then picking up paper as you drop it, or stocks as you drop it. And, you know, they're making it cheaper for them to borrow and pay it back, if they ever even pay it back. But the variation in the currencies, right? The market really picks it up sometimes, and a lot of times it really drops it off. But this drop, right? These precipitous drops like these, I mean, these are not normal. These are abnormal, right? Now, currencies trend primarily because of corporate flows, right? So if corporate entities find it a must to consistently shed a currency, there has to be a reason for it. I mean, imagine holding something that drops 93% or 86. Oh, wait, we're in crypto. We already do. Because I just highlighted the change in currency and the dollar value over time. That's what I just highlighted. 86.5% over 2,763 days from 85 through 92. And then 95, 93% drop from February 2002 through March 2008. While if you're not holding this currency in a yield bearing account, you're not earning anything on it. So you're just losing value. And then what you are earning on it is trash. I mean, look at this. This is horrible. High 15.82% all time versus a low of 33 basis points, less than half of a percent. Yeah, and this is a great comment. Thank you for mentioning this, Suzanne Troy, because this is exactly what got the market to really feel itself to the point that it did this. Where are we? I mean, just look at this chart. This is the S&P 500. Oh, you know what? Let me pull up the SPX. Hold on. Do I got it in here? Probably not. See? Oh, I got it. So here, yeah, here. All right. All right, I gotta put this thing on log. Hold on. Yeah, it's not much better, but it'll do. So the value of the dollar as the stock market did what it did, right? So in the 60s and 70s, as you guys can see, the market was really just chopping sideways. It didn't really do much of anything. And we'll just go from peak to peak just to show 10% over 5 years, right? 1,530 days or so. So not much going on, right? Because in the 70s, the next peak was actually lower than the previous one. So you just had a 12, 11% drop. Nothing to really write home on, right? So this is what happened in the 70s, a whole lot of nothing, right? But what was happening in the real world? A whole lot of crap. the world was being debased. I mean, if you know anything about New York City, you knew what was happening, the reset that was happening at that point in time. And this currency debasement, people coming back from Vietnam, people coming back from wherever they were, because it was millions of people at the time, so it was common, right? Currency getting debased, market going nowhere. But eventually, currency dropped out, found support, and so did the market. But what came with this? Why did the market find its footing and take off? Because of credit. Credit is a main culprit. And then, secondarily, Greenspan promising to end recessions. So much so that this is what you see here, here, here. LTCM, big thing that happened here. You don't even see it on the chart. You don't even see it. And it was huge when it happened. Why didn't it happen? Because the Fed said, no, 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 no. We'll take care of it. And this is the constant reality, on top of the fact that there's this thing that we're going to get into. It's called survivorship bias, right? This is how stock indices are made up, because the components that make up these indices change over time. Right? So this S&P 500 isn't the same 500 things that were in the market in 1872 or 71 or whenever you want to start the damn clock. Like, they're not the same. Important people realize that, because that's critical. Because this is why it only goes up. Never mind the dollar value, it's really this. Survivorship bias is the main reason, because when they got laggards in there, they take them out. They don't care. Who's questioning it? You? You don't even know. So not you. I don't even care, so not me. And I'm only one person. So I ain't gonna change that. Right? But again, this is why when you're getting involved with these things, you've got to learn, because nobody's gonna tell you.
Hey, Wales.
Yeah.
I'm going to get up out your way. I got
No
some
doubt, brother.
seedlings back here who are yelling at daddy that it's time to go swimming. So
Knock yourself out, brother. Enjoy.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me, man. Bless you and yours the rest of this weekend. And
My
I
pleasure,
will
brother.
see you this week. And chat, fucking kick-ass job today, man. You guys rock. Hexico.
Peace, bro.
See you in a bit.
So again, you see this debasement of this currency, right? And what happened during this time? The market was already getting trashed. The blue line is the market. That was the peak. It was really here, but that was primarily for the Nasdaq. I'm watching the S&P here, but this was the peak, and 70% drop or something like that. I think it was. Nope, wrong one. 43% drop. Okay. Oh, it actually. Yeah, this was a one lower. Yeah, I forgot about that. Anyway, 42% drop. Right, it's nothing crazy. But the dollar, what the hell did the dollar do? Let's find out. Dollar drop. I think I already showed it, right? 93% or some crazy shit like that. So I'm clearly not on the top over here. And I can't see it because this damn thing is in the way. There you go. 92. I mean, this is just insane, no matter how you slice it, right? So imagine you losing this. So, okay, so let's talk about this, because this is pretty critical. We talk about total returns, right? A lot markets. And then why is that? Because the currency can lose value in conjunction with the asset that you hold, right? Because it's one thing for the currency you're holding to lose value. It's another thing for the asset that you're holding and denominated in that currency to lose value, right? Because if we change the denomination to say Durham, right, it changes the picture completely over the past 10 years, right, in terms of the value perspective. But if you're accounting it in dollars, it remains the same because that's the unit of account, right? So, excuse me. But again, right, you see there's this debasement here, and over time, the stock market picked back up again. But what was happening? Well, they were easy money was a story back here because at this point, everybody knows you can get a mortgage with no income, no assets, no nothing. You could just get one just because you were breathing, and that was all it took. And this is critical, right? Because this is why things happen. Hold on, please. So, I'm sorry, guys. I had to reply to a message though. So the market just flew up because it was easy money, right? And this was huge at the time. Like people never expected the market to fall again. They expected it to look like this forever. And I mean, it was the same thing here, right? Because the market had been going up since this time. So how did this happen, right? Because damn, I don't even really cover this. This is kind of crazy. The market went straight up for 20 years or something. Something crazy like that, right? Like it went up for that long. So this is why the average person in our lifetime is predisposed to hearing, "Oh, you just gotta buy and hold." This is why nobody remembers these crappy years of high taxes and high federal spending. Nobody remembers those crappy years. They only remember this, right? And that one-sided point of view is exactly why you gotta educate yourself because it's not always true. Because guess what? Buy and hold didn't work during the 2010s at all, unless you held Amazon, and that didn't work out that well either, right? Where is this thing? Right, if you look at Amazon, you took some hits along the way, right? Here's a hit, here's a hit, here's a hit. Haven't taken no hits since they started printing money though. And that's the over financialization of the economy. However, if you look at the stock now, it's down $60 from its $188 high. And this is after splits and stuff. I'm pretty sure the stock is split because there's no way it hasn't been. But I don't remember. Hold on, let me check settings. I got splits highlighted here? Sure do. I guess it never has split. The fuck? Confused, but I'll come back to that later. Anyway, 26% drop so far. Right? I mean, 33, 32. And this is in a stock, right? A stock isn't even worth what, this is just what the market prices it at. So it's important to understand that. But this is ever since they started printing this money. Before then, it wasn't smooth sailing, right? So how do you actually trade a market that's value actually exists, right? It's almost impossible because you got other variables playing its effect on the market, right? And this is kind of what you see in cryptos. This is why Bitcoin is down, why HEX is down, because the dollar was preferred to that crypto for that period of time, right? That's how that happens, right? But here's the thing. We know that this market is essentially tapped out because it's already been 200 plus years. All they're going to keep doing is keep making stocks and keep getting people to go in and go out because that's what they push. Thank you. Let's go to 8-day. Let's see if it shows me that on 8-day. I thought they split too. OD. Come on. There we go. Let's see. So they did just split. I knew I wasn't crazy. 20-1. Boom. I think they just did that. So you can multiply the stock price by 20 and get the actual value, basically. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just did that. Thanks, brother. Appreciate the help. But yeah. So that's the deal with Amazon stocks and all that. Now, here's the thing, right? I want you guys to understand. When you want to speculate, speculate, but understand what you're doing when you speculate. And this is why we're going to go into the difference between a complete project, which is very simple. Complete project is no admin keys and immutable code where you can verify what the contract actually does. And as I stated earlier, you can go and search these solidity functions and discover what it is that they do and what accesses they grant and stuff like that. Because again, this is general consensus code. Okay? Very important. For best results, find a coin with product market fit, like Hex, right? Hedron, Maxi, right? They serve a utility, right? Oh, and somebody asked me last stream what the hell was the name of that shit? I think it was Team. And Team is where you stake base. But I don't really know much else. I had told somebody it was something else. So if you're listening, I got that wrong. Team is where you stake base, which is the 1-year coin that they're doing. Yeah. So that's the deal with complete projects, right? No admin keys immutable. They're final. They're complete. They don't do anything besides what they do. There's no other things that could be, fucking changed by the code. It is what it is. And again, for best results, find the coin with product market fit. Now, projects, they're typically incomplete. They typically have admin keys. They typically have amendable code, and they typically have changing roadmaps. And then on top of all of that, they have undisclosed costs. Now, why do they have that? Because they know the average Joe isn't going to look into it, right? And this is why a lot of people fall into these traps of getting into these hourglass scams where they're paying 20 to get in and 20 to get out, or whatever the case is, right? Because who the hell wants to pay 20% of their money just cause? I mean, that's crazy. So whatever. Anyway, these are the types of things you got to think about. Now, why is it that everybody on the internet can talk about stocks and bonds and all these things, futures and all that? And it's okay, but it's not okay to talk about crypto. Because a lot of people get in trouble for that, right? You guys are familiar with certain instances where people get in trouble for talking about this stuff. Now, the reason being is because the feds, they haven't standardized what crypto is. If you look at any of those items I talked about previous, they're all the same. You're just trading tickers, supply and demand, right? If I click on anything else on this thing, watch list here, the only difference is what it is and how it's more and how it's valued. That's the only difference. This is $20 a tick. This is $50 a tick. This is VIX volatility. Now, you can't even trade that. This is a 30-year bond future. This is $31.25 a tick. The 10-year is $15.62.5 a tick. Right? So these are all exchange traded products that I know when I go to this exchange and trade this thing, I'm going to get that tick value, no questions asked. But when you're trading in crypto, that is not the case, folks. I know this soybean contract is going to be whatever the exchange says it is because it's $50 a tick, $50 a point. So every time this changes from $13.25 to $13.26, that's $50. Other way, minus $50. Wheat, same deal. Corn, same deal. Right? Silver. This one is 5,000 per dollar. So if you hold this futures contract from short from 25 to where is that now 18, you made 7 times 30 times 5,000. So you made 35,000 on one contract, but it costs you to get that. It ain't free, right? That's what's called margin. Nat gas, I think that's 10,000 per dollar. So if you held this from that 2020 low, if you held a contract, you know, a long dated contract, because that's doable. From that low, you probably caught probably $4, $5, maybe even 6. So you probably made it a cool 60, because that's 10,000 per point, right? This chart is an aggregate. It'll show you the whole move. But it's understanding the difference between crypto and whatever else is out there. It's important because there's a lot of people running into this market that don't know the difference. And you got to learn the difference because you cannot speculate in crypto. Crypto is really not for speculation. That's not what it was made for. And this is why we went over the white paper earlier. Cash is just cash, right? It's not fancy. So, you know, things you got to think about, especially if you're small. Because again, I'm talking to the average person, the person that's trying to come up and out. I ain't talking about to rich guys. If you got to figure it out, this ain't for you. Keep it moving. So understand when you trade this gold contract, $100 a point, right? Crypto, you really don't know what you're getting. You assume that you do, but in reality, you really don't know. And once you get into that contract, you might not get out. And that's why this is so important. This is why I did this stream, just to talk about this topic, because it's that important. With a complete product, you got immutable code, meaning it cannot be changed or altered. It's done, and you can confirm what it is once it's done. You can get comfortable with it once you can learn how to confirm what it is once it's done. Right? This is what it's about. Now, why does that matter? It matters because people wish something like Hex existed, something like Hedron existed, something that it was just consistent existed for their financial affairs. But it doesn't. Not even Bitcoin is consistent because you've had the issues that network has had. Now, you want to speculate, I highly advise you check out CME, stock market, whatever have you, FX. Do not speculate in crypto. There's other ways to make X's if you learn how. But crypto ain't it. Because you're taking a gamble if you don't do your due diligence. Now, if you're doing your due diligence, then never mind me and carry on. You know what you're doing. But for the average person, you got to learn how to read the code. And that's just going to Etherscan and again, looking up those solidity functions and learning what they are. That is the key. That is the key. Learn about where you're putting your money because you don't want anybody else telling you stories. I could sit here and do it myself for you, but that's not going to do you any favors. Because you got to learn. And we're here to help you learn. Right? But you got to know that that's what's going on. Very important. You don't want to connect your MetaMask to something that's just waiting to drain your wallet. I mean, it can happen to anybody at any point in time, as I told you earlier in the stream. These are the things you got to keep in mind, especially with Pulse Chain coming around the corner, because there's going to be a ton of easy money to bank over there if you understand what you're doing. Because I understand everybody's trying to get this money up, but you got to understand what you're doing, right? Crypto is not the place to do that kind of gambling or that kind of trade making or whatever you want to call it. Not in my opinion, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get caught in a sand trap. And you don't really want that. You want to make money. So learn how to read Solidity. Do yourself that favor, especially if you really want to play this game. Otherwise, don't play it. Trade futures and other things. So get that right, because that's what you want. You want to make money, not be a bum that doesn't listen, doesn't learn. You don't want to be a Bitcoin maxi made, basically. I mean, I've never seen such a crowd. It's crazy. It's crazy. And most people in this community, you know, they know better. A lot of people, they just keep putting their glory hole. They're sticking a glory hole where it don't belong. And they get burned by that. And they still don't learn. Yep. Damn right. Shout out to Tendies for this one, because he damn right. Yep. You nailed it. If you put your money in anything for an RH product and it didn't go up 10,000x, you actually lost money. And the funny thing is, the 10,000x does not include staking. So yeah, everybody out here losing money and they think they're being smart. Funny, huh? And I mean, I really thought that was obvious with all the charts I used to make, all the returns, but it's not obvious, clearly. Six-figure returns do not move people. Fantasy shit, shiny stuff, that's what moves people. That's why they get goaded into clicking on crap that drains their wallets. Exercise discipline. Educate yourself. You want to be great. You want to be a billionaire. It's not going to happen playing around. Take this seriously like I do. Because you want to be a billionaire, millionaire, whatever the case is, it's not going to happen by you not being educated. Hell, that's the whole reason I created MCA, so people wouldn't get wrecked by their own financial lack of knowledge. Because there's a whole plan even to get people educated and everything like that to the clients, because people need to be. People need to be. And that's the only way you stay wealthy. It doesn't happen because you feel like it. You got to actually do it. And it takes action. And this is why we go through these things. So again, a complete project, no admin keys, immutable code. You verify that code. For best results, find a coin with product market fit. Projects are incomplete. They have admin keys. They have amendable code. They have changing roadmaps. There are, and on top of all of that, undisclosed costs are embedded within that code. This is exactly why you got to learn how to read these stuff. You got to. It's not an option. You can't depend on everybody to pump it. You'll be the last guy to figure it out, because that's what happens with all these coins that are worth buying that are projects. You figure it out at the last second because somebody told you, yeah, it's good after they done did a 200x. But you missed it. You're buying and hoping for a 20. Why bother? You losing money. You're losing money. There's better ways to make money. So yeah, you just need to figure it out. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace.
right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. That's it. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. These motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. I mean, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all deep. Everybody. My God. Hex agents, bro. Everybody. Australia.